When you're traveling with kids, in general, even if you're at an all-inclusive, but especially if you're not on an all-inclusive, it is so ridiculously expensive because you're buying every single piece of food, meal out. And like every activity is so expensive. And now they're making it to the point where it's like impossible for people to go on vacation, like family vacations to anywhere, because the prices are so insanely high across the board. It's actually disgusting. Welcome back to another solo episode of Habits and Hustle, where we talk really about just whatever's on our mind, and maybe, hopefully, it's on your mind too. And that's what we're doing. I'd like to start by saying, if you have not yet subscribed, please do so. It makes a major difference when we, are trying to get our rhetoric, our jibber jabber out to the world. The algorithm tracks it when people make comments and do all that stuff. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Leave a review, leave a comment. And with that being said, I want to show you guys something. Multitask. By the way, I'm multitasking right now.
This is hilarious, you guys.
Isn't this something amazing? I'm all about the multitask. I hurt myself, and so this red light's really helping. So the reason why I wanted to show it was, if you see a red light beaming up, that's what it is. Anyway,
I don't think they can see it, but it is actually really funny.
Not? Okay, I thought you can see the red light beaming up from
No,
here.
it looks like you're sitting normally too, which is hilarious.
Oh, really?
Like your posture looks, and then they don't know that you have like a kung fu kick going to the side.
I'm like literally sitting in a half split as I do this. So, okay, I wanted to talk about something because I just got back from it was a family trip. And the reason why I'm saying the word trip, it wasn't a vacation, it was a trip. And there is a very big distinction, in my opinion, between the word trip and vacation, right? When you're traveling with two small kids, it's not a vacation. It's not. You have to feed them. You got to make sure they're safe. You got to be entertaining them constantly, which then really isn't that much of a relaxing experience for the parent. So when I hear the word family vacation, I always laugh because I don't think there is such a thing. I think it's a family trip, yes, but not a vacation.
I feel like family vacations can only really happen when the kids are older. Like, I don't feel like you can have a young, you know what I mean? It's impossible.
I think it's so funny when people are like, oh my God, like when you're saying, like, when you're like, oh, where were you? Where are you going? Or like, oh yeah, I went to visit my family in Canada. I had a wedding in Canada. And everyone was like, oh my God, that's so great. It's a family vacation. And they say it in this way, like, oh my God, so joyous and wonderful. And I'm like, will I sound really terrible if I'm like, sound like really annoyed and irritated if I don't have the same enthusiasm?
No, do these people have kids or no?
I mean, I was going to say, like, I just think that people just automatically go to, oh yeah, that's such a nice thing, a family vacation. But in my head, I'm like, no, it was hardly a vacation. In fact, I need a vacation from that trip because it was not a vacation. It was more stressful and more, kind of busy and more work than just staying at home and doing whatever you would normally do. So I always find that to be just a very interesting thing. Like, are we just conditioned to do that like societal, sweet, kind, oh yeah, that's great. Because I would imagine if you're a parent, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And there's a distinction between the word vacation and the word trip. And if you really want to have a vacation and you really want to relax, you don't go away with kids. That's just the way it is. I'm sorry. And if you disagree with me, you can let me know. But I think that there's a big disconnect between the two.
Absolutely. I think even if you go to, I think the only way to get around that is going to, like, we used to go on cruise ships with my dad, me, my sister, my dad,
with
and
club beds or whatever, like,
and they have a kids center, right?
Yes,
that's the only way to get out of that. Because there's no, I
100%.
need to ask my dad if he felt like those trips were vacations. Because I know he was relaxed because we used to sleep till like 3 p.m. every day. So he would have the good first half.
In what world does anybody sleep at 3 p.m.?
Because we would go from LA to like abroad. So we're completely different time zone and we're children.
Oh yeah, but he's not sleeping until 3 p.m. like
no,
on the vacation.
He's not. We would. Me and my sister. Oh, it would be me, my sister, and my dad. So he would get like the full morning. We would wake up and he'd already have done breakfast, laid at the pool, read a book, and like.
Okay.
So I feel like that was his reprieve, and then we would go to the kids center. But I think if you do this any other way, like if there's no one if there's no out, you know what I mean, for like time periods, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. No. Like I remember. Like my kids now, like, 8 and 10, so it's a little bit better. But, there was a few years where, I would go away on this family vacation with my husband and my kids. And it was torture because I never sat down for a second. I had to constantly keep them entertained, moving, going, feeding, like on there's no relaxing there. So then we decided, forget that. We're going to go on to these like Club Meds, which was like, you have these kids clubs. So then the kids are entertained by strangers. And it was way better. And it became more of a vacation and less of a trip.
Right.
So like the only way to do this, in my opinion, to shift from trip to vacation when you have small kids is to go to these all-inclusive places where they have really strong programming for kids, or else you're just literally screwed.
Yeah, you need like morning to night programming.
It's beyond. And it's so expensive. Can I just tell you this?
That's
the other thing. Like when you're traveling with kids and in general, even if you're at an all-inclusive, but especially if you're not on an all-inclusive, it is so ridiculously expensive because you're buying every single piece of food, meal out. And like every activity is so expensive. Like, and now they're making it to the point where it's like impossible for people to go on vacation, like family vacations to anywhere because the prices are so insanely high across the board. It's actually disgusting that what's happening. I did a whole thing. You can go back to the episode on price gouging on eggs.
That was a great episode.
Right. I was ranting about the price of eggs and just in general food in restaurants. But it literally is now become like across the board, just prices are out of control. And when you have a family and you're trying to like do things together, like even going bowling, going anywhere. Like, do you know the prices of Disney World or Disneyland right now?
Oh, amusement parks are what are they now? They were expensive when I was a kid. I can't imagine what they're now.
I don't even remember. I think it's like a $200 a ticket. Like it's so
crazy.
And I think it's repulsive that they are doing that. Like it's not, I don't know. I think it's really bad because you're making it like people are literally going into debt where they should be using that money for food, quite frankly, or other things that are much more necessities. But they want to show their kids, like they want to they want their kids to have a good time and enjoy themselves, especially in the summertime. And these are just out of control. Like summer camps are even out of control.
Summer camps are so expensive.
Oh my God.
But it's true.
Insane.
Like cost of living is crazy right now just across the board. But I can't even imagine traveling because it's not like you get discounted air flights and stuff. Like kids pay the same amount. They're just another person.
So that was what I was going to bring up. Like I was going to say that, and I got on my rant about just prices of amusement parks and movies or movies.
Oh yeah, movies are really like psychotic now. It's crazy.
It's ridiculous. But airfare? Are you kidding me right now? Like an economy coach ticket in the way back that used to be, let's say, $149 or even like $129. Those tickets are going for like $600 now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because people are having less shows or less flights. It's full, so you can't even get a ticket.
Did you guys have problems at all with your flights? Because, United, first of all, United has been messing up all over the place, but airlines have been canceling like thousands of flights because they're completely understaffed and there's legal limits on the shifts that people can do. So for example, if a flight is delayed, like let's say 3 hours, right? And a flight attendant is on the second half of her shift. If it's delayed 3 hours, it might push it just to the brink of when it would be illegal for her to get on the plane because then it would mean her shift is too long. Yeah. So then they have to cancel the whole flight because they don't have flight attendants. The whole thing is crazy. Who's calling us right now? Is it United? Oh my God, it's Zuckerberg. It's Zuckerberg. He's calling.
Who is calling?
He got my feature request. He got my feature request.
By the way, that phone never rings, ever.
Just when we record.
And only because we're recording does it ring, just to show how amateur we really are. My point is the airfares are astronomical across the board, even domestic, international. It doesn't matter what airline. So if you're not going to even have a vacation, if it's going to be more stress, like what's the point of even going? Like, you know, everyone's like, we got to build family memories. We got to do this. We got to do that. But it's a memory of like, of fighting, annoyance, exhaustion. But it's still it's a family memory.
Well, okay, as somebody who has yet to experience the parent side of a trip, right? I've only done the kid side. I will say those memories are iconic and ingrained in my brain. Like, I cherish every single trip that I ever took with my dad growing up. Yeah. He used to take us every summer because he had the Princess Cruise account. So we would go on that. And it was like cute. A whole thing. Me, him, and my sister. And I will never forget those trips. But now, as an adult who has experienced this very traumatic 2 weeks with my sister's kids, right? I'm actually
you're still talking about that.
It's so traumatic.
See? Okay, this is the perfect example. So Shawnee went to visit her sister and sister and the kids of the sister. And she's still, like, it was like 2 months ago. She's still talking about the trauma of being with children on a trip, not a vacation. Okay, so then that was
really a trip because I was working, but yes, but I wasn't like fully responsible for them either. Like, I didn't sleep with, you know what I mean? They weren't like my 100% responsibility, so I can't even imagine.
Okay, well, there you go.
Basically, I'm just curious if my dad actually had fun on these trips or not. And in fact, I need to call him right away and find out.
I can guarantee the parents have a terrible time every time. I would imagine.
No, I think he liked it. I feel like he had a good time.
I do think that the kids,
Am I delusional?
Yes. I think that the kids, it's a great memory for the kids because the kids don't know what goes on behind the scenes. They remember very nostalgic when they're older. It's like a beautiful memory and nostalgic. Oh, I remember when I was here or there, wherever. But on the parent side, yeah, like I think maybe over time in life, like I think it's human nature, we forget the negative anyway and we only focus on the positive. However, in the moment, okay, while it's happening, that's what I'm saying. While it's happening, let's not confuse the word trip with vacation. And let's just leave it at that.
I agree.
Okay. Now, before we go, I want to ask you guys at home or wherever you're listening to this podcast, can you remember when you went on a family trip / vacation where it felt like a vacation or vice versa? Let me know. I'm actually really curious about that. Maybe you guys have some ideas of how you can make the trip feel like a vacation, because that I think is super, super useful information and hopefully actionable, and we can share it with everybody.
Can you actually put up a poll? Put up one of those question things on your Instagram story when we post this episode? Because I'm actually really curious if people have good, like, feasible advice that people can do to help on these things, because I think a lot of parents are craving this.
I would be shocked if you're a parent listening to this and you're like, oh, I have no idea what Jennifer's talking about. I love every moment of the family vacations I take. I would be shocked. That's all I'm saying.
I also would be.
Yeah.